I wasn't ready for that. I was 5 minutes early thinking I'd beat everyone to the locker room. The door latch hadn't caught properly. Probably that old squeaky thing that never worked right. I swung it open, backpack dangling from one hand, and froze mid-step. Alaric, my coach, standing there completely naked, finishing up a shower. Steam curled around him, water dripping down the lines of his shoulders, his chest, his abs. My brain short-circuited. My heart wasn't just beating, it was hammering, slamming against my ribs like it was trying to escape. My throat felt like sandpaper. My stomach lurched, twisted, melted. And my eyes. My eyes were traitors. I shouldn't be looking. I couldn't be looking. And yet I couldn't look away. Every curve, every line of him screamed at me. The way his chest flexed when he shifted his weight. The tightness of his abs. The way the water glinted off his biceps. I wanted to memorize it all, press it into my brain forever. I didn't even know what I wanted. And that terrified me more than anything. Henry. His voice was calm, neutral, professional, and it made my stomach lurch again. He'd clearly seen the door swing open, understood immediately it wasn't his fault. Not a smirk of accusation, not a hint of judgment. Just that tiny, almost imperceptible twitch of a raised brow. A slow, teasing curl of his mouth that I wasn't sure was intentional or my imagination. Stuttered, words spilling out like a broken faucet. I'm so sorry, I didn't know. The door. I waved a hand uselessly toward the door, my voice shaking. My knees felt like jelly. I wanted to disappear, or at least melt into the floor. Don't worry about it, he said, calm, professional. No anger, no weird tension, just a slight shrug. It's the latch. These old doors never work right. His gaze flicked away briefly as he grabbed a towel. Just knock first to check next time, yeah? I scrambled backward, backpack swinging, trying to make myself smaller, less noticeable. My words trailed off, completely useless. I slammed the door behind me and leaned against it, gasping, trying to catch my own heartbeat. But the second I closed my eyes, I saw him. The way the water clung to him, the way his chest moved when he breathed, the faint curl of that smug smile. Every nerve in my body was on fire. I couldn't stop thinking about him, couldn't stop wanting, and I didn't even know what the hell I wanted. Practice that day was torture. Every time he walked near me, adjusted my stance, corrected my grip, I felt it. Heat pooling low in my stomach, my thighs trembling under control I didn't have. My hands shook when I touched the ball. My chest was tight, and every breath I took felt too shallow, too fast. I caught myself staring too long at his arms, at his hands, the way the sweat glimmered in the fluorescent light. And I wanted to die of shame and longing at the same time. And at night. Oh, at night it got worse. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, my mind replaying the scene in a loop so vivid I could still smell him. The sharp, clean scent of soap and him, warm and dangerous. My body ached with need I didn't have words for, and my brain screamed at me to stop, to think, to breathe. But I couldn't stop. I didn't want to stop. The next few weeks were hell. Every drill, every warm-up, every stretch, every casual brush of his hand, it meant something. Every glance, every instruction, every laugh or sigh sent shivers down my spine I could barely hide. I hated myself for noticing, for wanting, for thinking. I hated the way I flushed whenever he was near. I hated how I imagined him in my bed, in my arms, touching me. And God, I hated that it made my pulse spike just thinking about it. And yet, even in the middle of torment, Even in the panic and shame and obsession, I couldn't stop. I couldn't get him out of my head. And I knew deep down that I never would. A few days later, every practice is a goddamn battlefield now. I walk in, bag slung over my shoulder, and my brain immediately locks onto him. Alaric. Always Alaric. Every step he takes, every muscle flex, every tiny smirk, it's like someone poured gasoline over my nerves and lit a match. I try to focus on my drills. Focus, Henry. Focus. But then his hand brushes my shoulder while adjusting my stance. Accidental, I tell myself. Accidental. My stomach flips, heat crawling low in my body. My thighs tighten, my chest feels like it's trying to escape. Then he demonstrates a stretch. Hands on my back, sliding just a fraction too low. And I can't. I can't think. I can't breathe. My pulse is pounding. My brain is screaming, this is wrong, and yet I'm craving it. I want him closer. Want his hands everywhere. I hate myself for it. I hate the way my gaze lingers on his chest, on his arms, on that damn smirk he gives me when I mess up. I hate that I notice how the sweat glistens along his collarbones, the way his jaw flexes when he's annoyed, the subtle way he leans just slightly closer when he's talking to me. Weeks drag on, each practice adding fuel to the fire. Accidental brushes feel like deliberate provocations. Every correction feels like his hands are branding me, leaving invisible marks all over my body. I can't sleep, can't eat properly. I'm obsessed, 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 and I hate myself for it. I tell myself I'm straight. I tell myself it's impossible. But the truth is crawling under my skin, burning me alive. A week later. Tuesday afternoon. Gym smells like sweat and metal. The sound of bouncing balls, shoes squeaking, and the occasional slam of a dumbbell fills my ears. I'm exhausted, brain fried, heart hammering, but I'm trying, really trying. Then it happens. Henry, focus, Alaric snaps, loud, commanding, cutting through my fog. My stomach drops, my chest tightens. I can feel every nerve in my body coil. He storms over, closer than ever, hands gripping my shoulders, pressing, correcting my stance. My knees feel like jelly. My pulse skyrockets. And then, our eyes meet. Oh God, our eyes. His hazel gaze is blazing, unreadable, sharp, electric, like he knows exactly what he does to me. And he does. He knows. I can feel it. I can feel him. My chest aches. My brain is fried. I'm shaking from the inside out. I hate myself. I hate that I want this. I hate that I'm soaking in the heat radiating off him. I hate that I want his hands, his touch, his eyes on me. Every word he says cuts through me. Every correction feels like a caress I shouldn't crave, and every subtle glance makes me want to throw myself into him. I'm a mess. Weeks of stolen touches, lingering glances, subtle electric proximity have built this tension into a nearly unbearable furnace. And now it's right here, in this gym. With him towering over me, eyes locking onto mine like he's seeing all of it. Every want, every shame, every desire I've been bottling for weeks. When he finally steps back, my chest aches, my thighs tremble, and I have to clench my fist to stop myself from doing something stupid. My brain screams, run, hide, escape, but my body, thinks differently. It craves more. It needs more. Walking out of that gym, I'm shaking, sweaty, exhausted. My head is spinning. My skin is on fire. Weeks of torment, obsession, shame, and longing have collided into this single moment. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I can't think straight. I can't stop thinking about him. And the worst part? I wouldn't want to. Not even for a second. A few weeks later, the shower was supposed to calm me down. Hot water hitting my back. Steam swirling around, the sound of it pounding in my ears. But it didn't calm me. It only made my thoughts louder. Him, him, him. Then I heard the door creak. My stomach did a complete flip. "Henry, you okay?" I froze. It was him, Alaric, fully clothed now, towel in hand, checking on an injury or something. His voice was calm, professional, completely normal. And I knew. He had no idea what I was feeling. No idea what had been building inside me for weeks. But I couldn't stop. I couldn't hold it in anymore. My chest felt like it was going to explode. My throat caught, words tumbling out before I even thought. I can't stop thinking about you. Every practice, every time you look at me or touch me or just exist around me, I can't focus. I hate it. I hate that I want it. I hate that I can't stop. I was shaking, heart hammering, heat crawling everywhere. I grabbed the towel from his hands before he could react, pulled him toward me, and kissed him. It was reckless, raw, desperate. My hands tangled in his hair, my chest pressed against his. I wanted him to feel everything I'd been bottling up for weeks. The longing, the obsession, the shame, the need. And he froze. I mean, completely froze. Alaric's eyes went wide, jaw slack, hands hovering, unsure where to go. His body stiffened against mine like he'd been hit with a shockwave. I could feel the hesitation, the stunned silence between us. I pulled back just enough to see his face, and holy shit. He looked flabbergasted, stunned. Like he had no idea this was coming. Not a single clue. He wasn't angry. He wasn't anything. He was just completely caught off guard. Henry. His voice was low, shaky, unsure. He took a half step back. I couldn't stop myself. My pulse was insane, my body on fire. "I know," I blurted, chest heaving. "I know this is wrong. I know it's insane. I can't help it. I've wanted this for weeks and I can't stop thinking about you and He blinked, just blinked, totally silent, completely frozen. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. He didn't feel the same. Not yet. He didn't even know what this meant. And somehow, that only made my desire worse. I wanted him to understand. I wanted him to want me. I wanted him to look at me the way I've been looking at him. But all I got was stunned silence, wide eyes, and the faintest hitch of his breath. I wanted to melt into him. I wanted to apologize. I wanted to shove all my feelings down and run. But instead, I kissed him again. Reckless, desperate, messy. And I knew, whatever happened next, nothing would ever be the same. The next day, the gym was quiet after practice, echoing with bouncing balls and distant locker room doors slamming. Alaric called me aside, and my chest immediately tightened. I knew what was coming. I'd kissed him. I'd lost control. And now, we had to deal with it. "Henry," he said, voice calm, low but firm. Hands on his hips, standing tall. I could see the conflict in his eyes, pride, professionalism, and maybe just a hint of surprise still lingering from the kiss. "We need to be clear." I swallowed hard, stomach twisting. Yeah. My voice shook. I couldn't meet his eyes. My fingers fidgeted with the hem of my shirt. "Whatever happened, it can't happen again," he said, eyes sharp. "I'm your coach. Boundaries exist for a reason. I'm responsible for you, professionally. That means you do the same." I nodded, too quickly. "Yeah, I get it," I muttered, voice cracking slightly. My chest burned. Professional? I thought. After the way I kissed him? After everything I've been feeling for weeks? I wanted to tell him the truth, to tell him it wasn't a mistake. My heart was hammering, but my throat wouldn't cooperate. Words caught like fish hooks. I managed a whisper. It wasn't a mistake." He froze. For a second, just for a second, I thought I saw something flicker in his eyes. A mixture of surprise, caution, and maybe confusion. "Henry," he said slowly, voice steady but unsure. My chest heaved, cheeks hot. I wanted to reach out, touch him, show him everything I felt, but I couldn't. Not yet. He let out a slow breath. "Good. Then we both need to manage this. Understand?" His eyes were professional, distant, but I swear I caught a heartbeat of something else there. Desire? Confusion? I didn't know. That night, lying in my bed, my brain wouldn't shut off. The memory of his body, the feel of his hands, the way his eyes had widened when I kissed him. It was all I could see, all I could feel. My sheets stuck to my skin as my pulse raced, thoughts spiraling. I sent a text before I could think twice. "We need to talk. I can't keep this inside." His reply was almost instant. "Meet me in the gym. Now." I ran, heart thudding so hard I thought it would explode. The gym smelled of sweat, the echo of bouncing balls, and now, danger. Adrenaline and fear coursing through me. He was there, standing in the center, towel slung over one shoulder, calm, composed, professional. And yet, his eyes flickered to me. Sharp, observant, cautious. "I can't stop thinking about you," I blurted, words tumbling out faster than I could catch. The kiss. It wasn't a mistake. "I'm drawn to you. I've wanted you for weeks, and I can't pretend it's not real." He froze, jaw tight, hands gripping the towel, trying to process what I'd just said. His eyes widened, but there was no judgment, no anger, just shock. Pure shock. Henry." His voice was low, unsteady. We can't. You know I'm your coach. This isn't right. I don't care," I shouted, stepping closer, breath ragged. "I can't care. I can't ignore it anymore. I want this. I want you. I've been obsessed with you for weeks, and I don't even know how to stop it." His eyes flicked to my lips, then back to my eyes, and I could see it, the conflict inside him, trying to balance professionalism, morality, and now, something human. Something undeniable. I reached out, nearly trembling, and let my fingers brush his arm. His eyes locked on mine again. He swallowed, jaw tightening. He hadn't thought about it. Not like this. Not in that way. And I could see it unraveling him, slowly, beautifully, painfully. A few weeks later, the weeks after my confession were unbearable. Every practice, every drill, every moment in the gym felt like walking a tightrope over fire. I couldn't stop myself. I wanted him. All of him. And the thought of holding back made my skin crawl. I lingered longer during stretches, casually brushing my arm against his whenever he came close to correct my form. I volunteered for extra drills, stayed late to clean up equipment, leaned against the wall just slightly closer than necessary, let my gaze linger a little too long. Every step, every touch, every word. I let him see me want him, and I could see it. I could see the little cracks, the way his jaw tightened when I laughed too close to him, the way his hand lingered on mine a fraction longer than necessary, only to snap back as soon as he realized it. The subtle way his chest rose faster when I stepped near him, when I whispered my thanks for correcting me, when I caught him watching me in the mirror. One late afternoon, after practice, I cornered him by the weights. "You're impossible," I muttered, smirking, letting my shoulder brush his. His eyes widened, a sharp inhale escaping him. "Henry, don't..." His voice was strained, trying to reclaim authority, trying to remain professional. But his tone betrayed him. His eyes flicked to my lips, and for a moment, his composure cracked. I smiled, taking a tiny step closer. "You want this too," I whispered, and I could see it in the twitch of his jaw, the tightening of his hands, the way his pupils dilated, the subtle hitch in his breath. He was human. He was falling apart just like me, and I loved it. The pursuit wasn't fast. It wasn't clean. It was teasing, messy, frustrating, agonizing for both of us. I pushed, I nudged, I tested boundaries. And he resisted, for a long time, sometimes violently, sometimes trembling at the thought of it, until finally, the tension became unbearable. It happened on game day. High stakes, adrenaline pumping, every nerve in my body screaming. Alaric watched from the sidelines, worry and pride written all over his face. I pushed myself harder than ever, every glance toward him making my chest tighten. When the final whistle blew and we won, the locker room was empty except for us. I was sweating, heart hammering, chest heaving. He walked toward me, towel slung over his shoulder, and I could see the storm in his eyes. Hesitation, fear, but also undeniable desire. "Henry, I can't." His voice faltered. His hands were clenched, but he didn't move away. I grabbed his hand, holding it tight, leaning closer. "You want this?" I said softly, confidently, daring him to deny it. "I've wanted you for weeks. I've wanted you. Don't fight it anymore." He swallowed, eyes flicking from mine to my lips, then back. Slowly, cautiously, he leaned in. The first kiss was hesitant, questioning, trembling. Then, as if a dam had broken, we both pressed closer, hands tangling, bodies pressed together. Reckless, messy, desperate. Weeks of longing, frustration, obsession. All of it spilling over in one fiery moment. When we finally pulled back, both of us were shaking, breathless. He whispered, voice low, still caught between restraint and desire. "Okay. We do this, but carefully. Boundaries. Rules. Consent." I grinned, chest still heaving. "Agreed. But I'm not letting go." From that moment, we moved forward cautiously, intentionally, understanding the stakes, the power imbalance, and the danger, but now tempered with mutual desire and consent. The tension didn't vanish. It only shifted. Electric, hot, delicious, and entirely ours. A month later. We were impossibly careful. Every touch, every glance, every whispered word had to be calculated, measured, rehearsed in my head before it even happened. And yet, somehow it worked. Somehow, behind the thin veneer of professionalism, we found our own little world. Practice was torture. I had to bite my tongue when he corrected my form, resisting the urge to let my hands linger on his shoulders just a second too long, to lean into him when he guided me through stretches. I caught myself staring at the curve of his biceps, the way his jaw flexed when he was annoyed, the slight smirk that betrayed him when he thought I wasn't paying attention. Every glance he spared me was a spark. Every accidental brush of hands made my skin crawl with heat. But the real magic happened behind closed doors. Behind the walls of his apartment, in dimly lit diners at midnight, sprawled on couches that were far too small for two people to occupy comfortably. Late-night runs to the diner became sacred rituals. Two secret lovers sharing fries, teasing each other over milkshakes, laughing until my stomach ached. I'd catch him smiling at me in a way no one else ever had. Soft, private, like I was the only person who existed in the world. Text messages became lifelines. Sometimes just emojis. Winky faces, hearts, little inside jokes, but other times, confessions. Words I couldn't say aloud, spilling from him in the quiet hours when I was alone in my room. Phone clutched to my chest, face flushed, heart hammering. "Miss you. Wish you were here. Stop thinking about me so much," he teased. But I knew the truth beneath every playful line. Weekends were a mix of ridiculous and intimate. Video games sprawled on the couch, elbows brushing, my leg pressing against his knee. Cooking together became a chaotic mess. I still don't know how he survived my burnt pasta attempts, but the messiness made it ours. We stole kisses in the kitchen, playful, heated, brushing lips between flour-covered hands and sauce-smeared plates. One night, he flicked a bit of sauce at me, and I retaliated with a grin, smearing it across his cheek. We laughed, and I ended up pressed against him, catching his lips again, heat radiating in waves that made me forget the world outside. And then there were the quiet, almost painfully intimate moments that stole my breath. One night, curled up on his couch, my head on his chest, listening to him hum quietly while scrolling on my phone, I felt completely seen, completely safe. I could feel his heartbeat under my ear, slow and steady, anchoring me. The heat of him, the smell of him, the quiet rhythm of him. God, it was addictive. I'd never felt so understood, so wanted, so alive. And yet, even in the bliss, there was always that undercurrent. The thrill of hiding, sneaking, protecting our secret. Every brush of hands between classes, every lingering hug behind a closed door, every whispered "I missed you" in empty hallways sent shivers down my spine. The world outside didn't exist when it was just us. But the world always waited, always threatened. And it only made every moment more electric, more dangerous, more necessary. I remember thinking one night, heart lodged somewhere near my throat, palms sweating from leaning too close to him. This is insane. I shouldn't be this happy. I shouldn't feel this way about my coach. But I do. I want him. I need him. And I can't stop. Every touch, every laugh, every stolen second between us became a memory etched deep into my skin. And I was falling, messy, reckless, unashamedly, into something I couldn't name, something I didn't want to resist. A few weeks later. It didn't take long for reality to intrude. My parents called one night. Their voices warm but insistent over the phone. "Henry, we're proud of your scholarship applications, your perfect grades, your track record, but you need to focus. Don't get distracted by, anything else. You have a future, a path." And I froze. My chest tightened. My heart jumped. Everything I wanted was wrapped up in this. But they couldn't know. They couldn't ever know. Meanwhile, Alaric was pacing his apartment. If anyone finds out, I could lose my job. My career. Even get sued. You understand that, right? I nodded, though it hurt my throat to speak. I know. I don't care. I want you. We were trapped in desire versus consequences. Every smile, every touch behind closed doors felt like a risk. Every decision weighed heavy. But somehow, despite the fear, we found moments of bliss. Moments where the world didn't exist outside our small secret bubble. Eventually, we both realized that sneaky locker room touches, quick kisses in empty hallways, and late-night rushes were thrilling, but exhausting, dangerous, not sustainable. We slowed down. No more reckless touches. No more stolen glances in the gym. Instead, we explored everything else. Long talks at night, sprawled on his couch with blankets, sharing fears, dreams, regrets. Walks around town, hands intertwined, laughter spilling freely. Movie nights where I leaned against him, letting myself feel safe, grounded, seen. I learned to separate desire from shame. My body wanted him, yes, but that didn't define me. My choices defined me. Choosing to slow down, to respect boundaries, to nurture the emotional side of our connection. It was hard, but it made us stronger. Alaric smiled more now, genuinely, without the tension of hiding every inch of desire. I smiled more too, realizing that I didn't have to feel guilty for wanting him, that my desire didn't make me bad, that our love, secret, messy, complicated, and utterly ours, was something worth protecting. Months later. It was the last game of the season, and the last game of my high school career. Graduation was a week away, and everything felt surreal, like the world was holding its breath. My chest was pounding. adrenaline sharp in my veins, every nerve ending screaming. I could feel Alaric on the sidelines, watching. Not just coaching, watching me. Pride etched across his face, eyes locked on mine, that subtle smile that made my stomach flip every time I caught it. The whistle blew, the crowd roared, and somehow everything clicked. I ran like the world depended on it, pushed harder than ever before, made plays I didn't even think I could. Every move, every pass, every sprint, I wanted him to see me, all of me. I wanted him to know how much this mattered, how much he mattered. When the final buzzer rang, we'd won. I collapsed onto the court, chest heaving, sweat and tears mingling, and then I looked up. Alaric was standing there, clapping, cheering, completely unrestrained in his pride. No distance, no professional mask, just him. Just him. My heart nearly exploded. A week from today, the world would shift. Graduation. The end of the high school. The end of the coach/student line. And for the first time, it wouldn't matter. We could exist in the open. No hiding. No secrecy. Later, the locker room was empty. The smell of sweat and victory hung in the air. I leaned against a bench, still catching my breath, and he stepped in. His eyes softened immediately when they found me. That tension, that electric charge, it was still there, but now it felt different. Less dangerous, more ours. I couldn't resist. Not now, not after everything. I took a deep breath, stepped closer, and kissed him. Slow, deliberate, hungry but controlled. Hands tangled in his hair, pressing him closer, tasting him, feeling him, memorizing this moment. And for the first time in months, maybe for the first time ever, there was no secrecy, no shame, no stolen glances or stolen moments, just certainty. We pulled back, foreheads resting together, breathing hard, hearts racing. I grinned, chest still heaving. "We did it," I whispered. He smiled, soft and wide, wrapping me in his arms. Yeah, we did. And in that empty locker room, with the echoes of our victory bouncing around us, I knew it. We belonged to each other. No rules, no roles, no boundaries. Just us. Finally. Graduation was coming, the world waiting outside, but inside. In that moment, everything was perfect. We could finally be together, openly, happily, messy hotly, and nothing could touch us. Several months later. Graduation was a blur. Tassels, caps, speeches, proud parents. But none of it mattered as much as the fact that after the ceremony, we didn't have to hide anymore. No rules. No coach/student, just us. We rented a tiny apartment somewhere in between his job at my old high school and my college. Nothing fancy, but ours. The first morning there, I woke to him making coffee in the kitchen, hair still damp from the shower, towel slung low on his hips, and my stomach melted before I even had a chance to think. "Morning," he said, voice low, teasing. I grinned, dropping back onto the bed, pulling the covers over my chest. "Morning, gorgeous," I whispered. He laughed, soft and genuine, and then the chase began. Hot, messy, playful kisses across the kitchen, me tugging him toward the bedroom, him laughing, slipping away just enough to keep me desperate. Every touch, every look, every whisper of my name made my chest explode with heat. Days blurred into a rhythm of stolen mornings and lazy afternoons. Grocery shopping turned into hand-holding marathons with lips meeting in the aisles. Cooking together became an excuse for kisses and playful fights. Him flicking flour at me, me retaliating with sauce, both of us laughing until we collapsed on the couch, sweat and laughter mixing. We still teased each other mercilessly. I caught him watching me brush my teeth one morning and smirked. "You like that, huh?" He flushed, which made me grin harder. And suddenly, I had him pinned against the counter, hands tangled in his hair, kissing him hard enough to make him gasp. Even quiet nights were electric, curling up with a book while he hummed beside me. watching the sunset from our tiny balcony, arms wrapped around each other, leaning into him when I felt anxious about the future, and feeling him press reassuring kisses to my temple. Nothing was rushed, everything was intentional. Desire mixed with love, passion tempered by laughter and warmth. For the first time, I felt whole, safe, and seen, not just for my body, not just for my achievements, but for every messy, flawed, hilarious, perfect part of me. And yes, the sex was incredible. Slow, messy, heated. Every kiss, every touch, every whisper of our names was electric. But it wasn't just about that. It was about us. About the freedom to want each other without shame. To touch. To tease. To love openly. Fully. Endlessly. One night, after we'd spent the day wandering the city, laughing at dumb street performers and stealing fries from each other, we collapsed into our bed, tangled, sweaty, happy. I pressed my forehead to his. "Never going back," I whispered. "Never," he murmured, hands sliding over my back, pulling me closer. And in that tiny apartment, filled with laughter, heat, and quiet moments, I realized something that hit harder than any game-winning touchdown. Desire wasn't shameful. Love wasn't a secret. And choice. My choices had brought me here. To him. Fully. Perfectly. And finally free. We were messy. Reckless. And so. Utterly in love. And for the first time, nothing in the world could touch us. The end. Have you ever caught yourself wanting someone you shouldn't? How far would you go if you knew it could be dangerous? But irresistible? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to become part of our Rainbow Force. And consider joining our membership for early access and exclusive content. Stay wholesome.